I'm well aware that this might be the greasiest you've ever seen me on camera. There is a good explanation for it. Yesterday, well, no, 2 days ago, my water broke, so I don't mean like pregnancy-related water breaking or anything, I mean like the actual water to my house broke, and it's been all cattywampus ever since. Thus, behold, this filthy homunculus. I look like some kind of cryptid that would hide crack under your mattress in a hotel. Anyway, though, I want to talk about a huge flop that just dropped today. 2024 has been filled to the brim with flopperooskies. We just saw Borderlands' shameful display in the box office, making roughly $18.5 million as of a couple days ago against its $115 million budget. That is a box office catastrophe. That is like an Armageddon for the budget. Like, it doesn't even account for all of the marketing spend, I imagine. It's crazy how horrible that had performed, because it's a terrible movie, no doubt. And today we got a disaster in the video game realm with a flop called Concord. That name probably doesn't ring any bells because all of you have forgotten about it, I imagine. It is a generic hero shooter. I made a video on it like a month and a half ago, and it's a game that the entire gaming community just kind of rolled their eyes at. It's this amalgamation of all of the worst parts of every hero shooter that's come before it, but set to 0.5 times speed. Everything in the game is abominably slow. Oh, I don't have a shit. Holy! This might actually be the slowest movement I've ever seen in my life. It's like I'm on a treadmill. Oh my god. What's my Q?
Generator's hot. On me.
Don't know what that is. What's my... That's my shield. Need healing. Hold on. Give me 45 minutes. I'm flanking. Oh my god, the reload. That's tragic. Oh, I can't even play the Okay. You have to switch characters after each round that you win. That sucks. I thought it was only if you were doing like really well. Can you never play a character again that you win a round with? They're locked out for the rest of the game. So you win a round and whatever character you won the round with, you can't play again for the rest of the match. It's like you're playing a Zack Snyder film where everything is in this nauseating, perpetual, slow-motion, hypnotic state. It's just not very fun. But it's also not unplayable or awful. Like, it's not good by any means. The worst part about it is just how generic it is. It's a game that nobody wants, and if anyone likes this kind of game, there's 50 other games that just do it better than Concord. And what's exceptionally delusional about Concord in particular is that it's a $40 game. It doesn't even have the common courtesy to be free to play like every other multiplayer shooter on the market. So this game was dead on arrival without even arriving a month and a half ago, because that was the beta, the playtest. Now that it's here, it has come, and let me tell you, no one's there to swallow it. It didn't even break 700 players on Steam. But if you want something tasty to swallow, get Goof Juice, available at gamersupps.gg/moist. It's the best flavor ever made, I assure you. But yeah, anyway, Concord just barely over 650 players at launch. That's less than some bingo halls get with like 80-year-old octogenarians going in there and playing bingo. It's not exactly, you know, a great launch experience for Concord. To put that number in perspective, I compared it to the biggest flops in the gaming industry I could think of over the last couple years. Concord has less players than Redfall, for crying out loud, heavens to Betsy. And it actually has less peak players than Babylon's fucking Fall. Babylon's Fall is a game I think most of you have scrubbed from your memory, but this was, at the time, I'm actually having a Porky Pig meltdown right now because this is so shocking. Babylon's Fall was, at the time, a historic blunder. A crazy one. Babylon's Fall was so bad and so embarrassing they actually pulled the game from Steam. And yet, that had more peak players than Concord does. Concord just barely has a higher peak than Lord of the Rings Gollum, another game so floppy that the studio also got shut down for making it in the first place. Also, a couple articles report that Lord of the Rings Gollum actually did have more peak player count than Concord currently does. But according to Steam charts, Concord just barely squeaks out the W over Lord of the Rings Gollum. That's a full-blown flopperoo right there. This is a big budget game from PlayStation. This, no doubt, cost millions upon millions of dollars and a long time baking in the oven, and no one is here at the table waiting to be served this dish. I don't know how these games even get made, because from the very first trailer, when it became clear that it's a hero shooter, which is an unbelievably oversaturated market, everybody let out a collective sigh. I don't know who this game is for. I don't know who the target audience is, because even hero shooter enthusiasts, or even just multiplayer shooter enthusiasts, aren't going to choose this game to call home. They're not going to be climbing over each other, tearing at each other's flesh, trying to get a piece of that Concord action, because it's $40. And every other game in this genre is free, save for a couple of exceptions. It's a watered down version of free games that exist right now, so who the fuck would be lining up to fork over 40 clams for this? Your $40 is better spent paying someone to give you a swirly in a public toilet. This is the most predictable flop I've ever seen. There's no dimension in the multiverse where this title is successful, and everybody knew it, except for the suits, I suppose. I don't even know how this got greenlit in the first place. Again, everything about it was just doomed to failure. And now, here it is, failing. I don't know if it's like a desperation thing where they had already developed for, so many years and spent X amount of money on this project, and they just felt obligated to release it come hell or high water to try and recoup some of that investment. That's probably the case because, 600 people paying $40 for the game is better than 0, I suppose. But you know what's better than just recouping some of your investment? Not investing in turbo ass in the first place. Again, I don't even get how this project ever even made it to a launch. This should have just been an idea that people laughed at the meeting and said, yeah, imagine if we actually wasted time and money doing that and then moved on to a better project. It's such a shame because no doubt there's talented developers that worked on this, not because they wanted to, but because that's the project they were given. All the time and resources went into what they believed would be just an easy layup of just another hero shooter because it's a popular genre, not realizing that nobody wants more hero shooters, especially not ones with $40 price tag, to enter and play. It's just so simple and so avoidable. I had to talk about it though because it's a flop that's hard not to laugh at. I think it's important to mention that the game is sitting at mostly positive reviews at the moment, so the community that's playing it, however small it is, does seem to be enjoying it. And I gotta be honest, I don't really understand why. If this game was free, I'd totally get it. This is just an alternative to other games that are out there that maybe you're growing tired of, maybe it's getting stale. But it's $40 and you're just getting a worse version of those games. There is not a single thing that Concord does that no other game does, and everything that it does okay, other games do well. So I just don't really understand why there's anyone speaking so highly of it. If it was free, again, I would totally get it, but it's not. You're paying $40 and you're getting something worse than things that are free. I know I keep repeating that, but it just boggles my mind. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because this is a very impressive flop. You don't usually see games open, big budget games, open to under 1,000 players, especially not a game that has this much money going into it and this much, meat behind it. Usually, even the biggest flops that you've heard about, like fucking Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, that had 13.1 thousand players on launch, and that game lost the company a reported $100 million or more. So this is pretty rare to see a game flop to this degree. So I want to talk about it. That's really about it. So yeah.